Healing the world through optimism. Now that's a tall order for sure. I guess if we lived in a world where superheroes existed, I'd for sure go ask Mr. Deadpool or Wolverine, because it would be easy for them to point us in the right direction. They both have healing superpowers that allow themselves to regenerate, to self-heal, or to make new what was once destroyed. In fact, if we asked them, I'm sure they would probably tell us to follow the science. Man, does that sound familiar or what? But what they probably meant was for us to go seek out the doctors and scientists at the Weapon X program, because they're the ones most responsible for the healing superpower in their world. But sadly, that world does not exist yet. And it may someday when our technology advances. But until that time comes, fear not, because I got the answer for you. And surprisingly enough, it can be found in these 3 words. Go ask Africa. And I know some of you might be scratching your heads thinking, Africa? How in this world can Africa have the answers we need? And true, when most people think of Africa, we don't all have an image of a continent that is thriving in a way we would be jealous of. In fact, they're kind of like a cup that is half empty, if not almost empty for sure. Let's face it, in a few areas, they do not stand out as a nation that is free from problems of the world. In fact, optimistically speaking, we can say their situation is more like an overflowing cup, full of problems. Africa mostly is the world's poorest continent. In history, it has been behind everyone else on every measure of success and development. And yes, Africa has its problems like climate change, oppression, human trafficking, poor education, poverty, disease, and more. I mean, come on, people still live in huts in some parts. Go ask Africa. I know, crazy, right? But did you know on an international Gallup poll recently conducted in search for the world's most optimistic countries? Did you know that 14 out of 15 of the most optimistic countries were from Africa? Yep, Africa. And not some superhero multiverse either. Right now on our planet, Africa is the most optimistic. And this tells me something very useful when trying to figure out how we can heal the world through optimism. And that is, somewhere in Africa, somewhere in its people, is the answer for this healing we need. In fact, I believe that their secret to their optimism is something that we need a lot more of. And that is gratitude. They have so little, and we have so much, yet we are not half as grateful as they are. It means that despite everything they go through, more Africans see the future as bright than those from us from better developed countries. In a world that feels out of control, politically crazy and plagued by COVID, we are all starving in our own ways for optimism. Optimists focus on the good and what they can change in a situation rather than think the problem's out of their control. The very definition of healing means to become sound or healthy again, or to repair what was broken. The optimism of the African people sounds a lot like healing to me. In conclusion, optimism can be the healing factor to what troubles our world. And if we need an example, remember, we can simply go ask Africa. It kind of makes you think how far off this land of make-believe is far from our reality. Or maybe it's simply thriving right under our noses. If Africa is the cradle to civilization, maybe we should be searching there and healing the world through optimism. Thank you.